to the end of session markups on the 26th of July on a Wednesday. So if you followed my pre-London analysis this morning, we were anticipating obviously that this lower high could be the formation of the next push in for a break of structure on the daily. We came into the extreme of the 4H leg and the pullback, and ideally you wanted to get involved here for the buys. Today we came in at this point in time. So you know, we've developed this. We were somewhere here, and our anticipation was that I was at least long bias, but looking at opportunities for shorts, but not swinging towards the fences, being very mindful of the fact that shorts are low probability unless I don't get a clean setup, and then also for you know, 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour returns. So let's look at lower price action. What happened? Okay, so where did we come in? We came in on the Wednesday at about here. So when price broke this high, right, that was for me a 1H boss. So the strong low was here, right? So it was all the way over here because it broke this level to the top side. The order flow has changed bullish. And then after this break of structure, we were anticipating a pullback. So this could be extremely subjective now, right? Because would you classify this as a pullback, right? So relative to the current price action, right? So look at the current price action. You had big ranges, big swings, break of structure, big ranges, big swings, big ranges, big swings, chalk to the upside. Then you had a big push to break this 1/8 swing structure. And then we had a pullback. Now, this is somewhere in the middle, and that's where your judgment will come into play. The reason I say this is because it is neither a pause in the market because it was considerable pullback, neither is it a really deep pullback, right? It never mitigated the EQ of the range. So if I were to, let's say, take this and put it where it started, it came back into the you know, it never came back to mitigate the equilibrium or into the discount range. And sometimes that happens when the momentum is pretty strong. It might do a slight pullback and then continue moving topwards, right? So in this case, what happens? I mark it as a break of structure, and once that is broken, then my low moves up. This is a break of structure, and then after that, I'm anticipating a pullback. So when we marked today morning, there were two POIs that I was interested in. There was this one, and then there was this one up here. I believe this was the news towards later in the day when the price shot up, and we will talk about how does news impact our trading. Okay, so when price came in over here, we had two POIs, right? So this was a demand, and this demand was, the reason why I was interested in this demand is first, it was the extreme in the discounted range of this leg. So this is protected low. And if the price needs to pull back, ideally it would have been best if it pulled back here and then moves up, right? But we do understand that this is the entire demand range, right? It's sell to buy candles, and this is the entire demand range, and this is the more refined part of it because it's swept liquidity over here, right? So when price reached here, I was trying to get into shots targeting just to this demand. And when I look into 15 minutes, right here, so I did get involved in a short. We had a good give me 1 second. Where was I involved in? Let me just pull this out. Right there. And I'll explain what happened. So, by the way, this was not a loss for me because I closed my trade. I was break even quite early because I knew I was counter trend trading. And when I'm counter trend trading, I really want to protect my capital at all costs, right? And then also in this case, it did break this low, which was responsible to tag me in. And at that point in time, I had set my break even. But when I saw price struggling to break low, I closed my trade with some good profit. Good profit in the sense there was profit, right? Or at least 1 hour, a little less than 1 hour. But anyways, how did I get involved into this trade? So when I look at this, we came into the 1H supply zone. For me, there was a lot of liquidity that was swept. So all of this was swept. So that is a good sign. The peak also swept this internal range liquidity over here, right? So once that happens, and then we have a change in order flow. So this high broke this high, broke this high. So we have a chalk at this point in time because this high never broke this high. So the low of that would be the change of character. If you are confused, please check out my masterclass part 2, where I talk in depth about chalks and change of character and how do we identify them and all that good stuff. So once that happened, there was a reaction, a nice reaction. So this up candle was the reaction. So price went up, it came down into my supply, it gave me a reaction, and then it quickly dropped, right? And once it dropped, I drew my reaction zone and I set my entry over there. Now, yesterday, I placed it exactly at this 25%. I did not get tagged in. It was a beautiful, beautiful trade. Many hours to be had yesterday, but for a pipit. So today I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna make sure that I get tagged in, and I'm accounted for that spread over there. I got tagged in, and it went all the way down, gave me a break even. And when I saw price struggling at this time frame, I was peeping into the lower 5 minute and 1 minute. The structure was not looking very good to me, and I closed my trade, which in hindsight worked out because then we had a loss. So price basically came into this demand, and I was very much aware that there is a demand over here, so price could basically come into this and fly off. I was very aware of this, but I chose to take this risk, and I chose it very conservatively, being very conservative with my capital, right? Which is why I went break even before this low was broke. I was break even somewhere halfway through into the profit. So at least mentally I was stress free. So my target was basically to this demand. I was hoping price would come in here, give me a nice entry point, and boom, because we had this lot of liquidity over here that we could have grabbed. It was a nice extreme on the 1H leg, and we could have gone up. And this is what exactly happened, right? So our entry models did not work, but however, the analysis did work. Sorry, I just had a brain fart over there. Okay, anyways, how could we have gotten involved in this trade now? If you look at this, we had still this demand, right? This demand was mitigated, went up. Now the price came back in, took out this liquidity, gave us a chalk at this point in time. Low, all broken. This low was not broken by this. So we had a chalk. So once we had a chalk, we could have placed an entry over here, and that could have been a handsome trade. I wasn't at the charts. I was playing paddle tennis today, which I was excited about. So once I was done, I was not really interested in trading for the rest of the day. So news came in, and it perfectly mitigated one of the supplies that we had identified on the 1H over here. And now it's sort of giving us a reaction. And when we come back tomorrow, we'll see how price developed over the Asian sessions and what are the new POIs that we would be interested in looking for a trade. All right, guys, you all take care. Bye-bye now.